This is Algebra 2, Unit 10, Lesson 7 on multiplying and dividing rational expressions. Now, multiplication of rational expressions follows the same principles as those involved in simplifying them. The process is illustrated here with both a numerical and algebraic fraction. Look at the parallels. Okay, so when we have two fractions and we're going to multiply them, we can simplify them first by factoring out common terms either in the numerator and denominator or diagonally. So technically what we're doing is this. If I factor 6 prime, it's going to be 2 times 3. 8 is 2 times 2 times 2. 10 is 2 times 5. And 3 is a prime number already. So when we cross cancel, what we're doing is we are actually canceling out common factors. For example, this 3 will cancel this 3. This 2 will cancel this 2. And then up and down, we can also cancel a 2 here and a 2 here. And then we multiply the numerator and denominator of what's left. So technically, all these are going to be 1s when you cancel them out. So 1 times 1 times 1 times 5 is just 5. And then 1 times 2 times 1 times 1 is just going to be 2. So this is 5 over 2. Now, when we do this with just fractions, numerical fractions, technically what we're really doing is this. 3 cancels into 6 twice. 8 and 10 will both cancel out a 2, leaving a 4. And this will leave out a 5. And then the 2 and the 4 will cancel, leaving a 2. And this will be a 1. And that's actually what we're doing. So this is just a written out version of this. So either way, we still get 5 over 2. We don't usually do it in product form like this when we just have single numbers. We're usually doing it in our head, but this is technically what we're doing. We're canceling out a common factor. Okay, so when we're looking at rational expressions, we have to get our factors. So factor, 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 cancel, 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 cancel. X squared minus 4 factors how? Well, that's difference of squares. That's x plus 2, x minus 2. And then x squared minus x minus 6, that's going to be a double bubble. It's going to be x minus 3x plus 2. 3x squared plus 15x. That's a GCF factor. A GCF in this is going to be 3x. And when you factor that out, you're left with x plus 5. And then 6x squared minus 12x is also a GCF. You're going to factor out a 6x. So that's going to be x minus 2. Okay, so now that's completely factored. I want to cancel. Remember, you can cancel factors up, down, and diagonally, but they must be identical. Okay, so let's look up and down. Well, x plus 2 and x plus 2 will cancel each other. Over here, 3x will cancel 6x, leaving just a 2. Okay, diagonally, x minus 2 will cancel x minus 2. And I think that's it, what's left. Everything else doesn't cancel. All right, so what's left in the top? Well, we just have 1, 1, 1, and then x plus 5. And in the denominator, we have x minus 3 times 2, which we can leave just like that. You can multiply through if you want to, but it's not going to make a difference. So your final answer is going to be x plus 5 over 2 times x minus 3. So the trick to doing multiplying and dividing rational expressions is factor completely before you try to cancel stuff. Once you've got it factored, cancel up and down and diagonally. So the ability to cross-cancel fractions is a result of the two facts. To multiply fractions, we multiply the respective numerators and denominators, and multiplication is commutative. And the keys to multiplication, then, are the same that for simplifying. Factor and reduce. So factor, 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 reduce, 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 reduce. Okay, now be very careful when you're doing binomials. Make sure that you know what goes into what. All right, now let's take a look at this one. 8y to the 7th over 5x cubed times 10x squared over 6y cubed. All right, we can cancel the numbers, and we can also cancel the variables. So let's take a look at the numbers first. All right, diagonally up and down, 8 and 5 don't cancel, 10 and 6 do. I'm going to simplify 10 and 6 here. 6 and 10 both divide by 2, so this is going to be a 3, and this is going to be a 5. All right, and now diagonally, 5 will cancel 5, and then I'm done. All right, so number-wise, I'm finished. I've canceled everything that I possibly can. Now, for numbers, I've done, now I want to do the variables. You're dividing the variables, so you're subtracting the exponents. All right, so y to the 7th and y to the 3rd, you're dividing into, this cancels out, this will leave you with y to the 4th. And then x cubed and x squared, when you divide it out, that cancels completely, and that's going to leave 1x here. All right, now, multiply across, 8 times y to the 4th, over x times 3 is just 3x. Now, is this the only way to cancel? No. You could cancel different ways you want it. You could do the 8 and 6 first if you wanted to. You could do the 5 and the 10 first if you wanted to. It doesn't matter. As long as you only cancel the factors. All right, let's try the b. 6x squared y cubed over 4x to the 5th y squared over 10x y squared over 9x to the 5th y to the 7th. All right, now let's cancel diagonally first this time. Number-wise, 6 and 9 both divide by 3. So this is going to become a 2. This is going to become a 3. All right, 4 and 10, they both divide by 2. This is going to be a 2. This is going to be a 5. Okay, now look up and down. Can I cancel anything up and down? Yeah. The 2 and the 2 become 1s. So they are completely factored now. All right, let's deal with the x's. All right, diagonally, x squared and x to the 5th. Well, x squared will cancel out completely. X to the 5th becomes x to the 3rd. Okay, the other diagonal, x to the 5th and x. X goes into x to the 5th. This is going to cancel out. This is going to leave you with x to the 4th. All right, now, I can't go across. You can't cancel across, so I just have to leave those as far as I can go. All right, now the y's. Y cubed and y to the 7th will cancel each other out. You're going to leave y to the 4th down here. It divides in. And then y squared and y squared are going to cancel each other out, leaving just a 1. So they're going to cancel out completely, leaving just 1. All right, so I've canceled everything that I can possibly cancel, so I just want to multiply what's left. Well, this entire top ended up being 1 times 5 times 1 is just going to be 5. And the denominator, I have 1 times x to the 4th times 3 times x to the 3rd times y to the 4th. Okay, so the number-wise, 1 times 3 is 3. X to the 4th times x to the 3rd is x to the 7th. We add the exponents, and then y to the 4th. All right, multiplying monomials is not hard. You just have to make sure that you're paying attention to your numbers and your variables, and watch your exponents when you work with them. All right, now what happens when we have binomials and trinomials? Well, first thing we have to do before we try to do anything is factor, because you can never cancel part of a term. You can't do this, x squared and x squared. Not legal. Do not do that. That is illegal. All right, you can only cancel factors, stuff that has been broken down into what was multiplied together to get them. 2x squared plus 12x, you can factor out a 2x. That's a GCF factor. And that's going to give you x plus 6. 4x plus 8, that's also a GCF. You can factor out a 4. And that leaves you with x plus 2. Now over here, x squared minus 4x minus 12 is a double bubble. So it's going to be x and x, plus and minus. The factors of 12 that give you 4 would be minus 6 and positive 2. And then x squared minus 36 is x plus 6, x minus 6. Okay, now once it's factored, you can cancel up, down, and diagonally. Watch your values here. So this 2 will cancel this 4, leaving a 2. This x plus 6 will cancel this x plus 6. This x plus 2 will cancel this x plus 2. And this x minus 6 cancels this x minus 6, leaving 1. All right, so what's left in the numerator? Well, the only thing that's not crossed out here, leaving a 1, is an x. And then in the denominator, all that's left would be, all the rest of these are going to be 1s, and this is just going to be a 2. So this is x over 2, and that is completely factored. That's as far as you can go. All right, letter D. 9 minus x squared over 2x cubed minus 6x squared times 4x squared minus 4x over x squared plus 2x minus 3. Okay, factor, factor. Watch your signs. 9 minus x squared. That's difference of squares, but watch the order it goes. 9 is in the front, so this has got to be 3 and 3. Plus and minus, and to get negative x squared, you'd have to have plus x and minus x. 2x cubed minus 6x squared. That's a GCF. There's a 2 in both of them, and there's an x squared in both of them. So dividing out 2x squared, I'm left with x minus 3. Over here, 4x squared minus 4x, GCF is 4x. And this is going to be x minus 1. Remember, you have to be able to remultiply this, and if you don't have the 1 there, you can't remultiply. All right, and in the denominator, x squared plus 2x minus 3, that's a double-double. We have x times x, and then plus and minus. The only way to get 3 is 3 and 1, but to get to be positive 2, it would have to be plus 3 and minus 1. All right, now factor, 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 cancel, 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 cancel. All right, 3 plus x and x plus 3, are they the same? Yes, they are. By the commutative property, they are. So if I rearrange this as just x plus 3, it would be exactly the same. So this is going to cancel this. All right, the tricky one is 3 minus x and x minus 3. Are they exactly the same? No. They are in reverse because of the signs. Remember we did this in the previous lessons? 3 minus x and x minus 3 divide out to be what number? They actually divide out to be negative 1. So cross the bottom one out. Usually you put the negative 1 in the numerator, so negative 1 up there. Okay, because you have to factor out a negative 1 to get the signs to match. All right, anything else? Well, let's see. We have x minus 1 up and down, and then the 2 cancels the 4, leaving a 2. And this x will cancel x squared, leaving x down here. All right, so what's left in the numerator? Remember, you have a negative 1 here. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. And then x is all that's left down here with 1, so this is just going to be x. So your answer is going to be negative 2 over x. Be very, very careful when you see the subtraction ones, because they're not the same if you switch them around. Subtraction is not commutative. When you have the subtraction ones with reverse, they divide out to be negative 1. Okay, division of rational expressions works the same way as division of fractions. Copy dot flip. All right, so the first thing that you have to do is multiply by the reciprocal. So these we're not going to factor yet. We're going to flip it first. So we have 15x squared over 6y to the 5th. Copy, change it to multiplication. This one's going to flip. This becomes 2y to the 7th over 5x to the 8th. Once you've got that, it's a multiplication problem where you factor and cancel. Well, let's see. The 5 and the 15 cancel, leaving a 3. X squared cancels x to the 8th, leaving x to the 6th. 2 cancels 6, leaving 3. Y to the 5th cancels y to the 7th, leaving y squared. All right, so multiply the numerator. 3 times y squared is 3y squared. 3 times x to the 6 is 3x to the 6th. And, oh, notice there, I can cancel the 3's. I forgot to cancel up and down here. So this is going to cancel the 3's, leaving y squared over x to the 6th. So it's basically the same thing that we just did, except you have to remember to flip your second polynomial. All right, so 30y to the 6th over 20x to the 3rd times 8x over 24y squared. Change it to multiplication, flip the second one, and then cancel. 30 and 24 both divide by 6, so this becomes a 5, this becomes a 4. 20 and 8 divide by 4, so this is going to become a 2, this is going to become a 5. And then up and down, 5 cancels 5, leaving 1. 2 cancels 4, leaving 2. All right, so there's my numbers. Now for my variables, y squared and y to the 6th. Y squared cancels, y to the 6th becomes y to the 4th. Subtract the exponents. X and x cubed, x cancels x cubed, leaving x squared. All right, so multiplying what's left, we have y to the 4th left in the numerator. And then I have x squared times 2 is 2x squared in the denominator. All right, now with the polynomial ones, I'm going to save myself a little time. I'm going to factor as I go. X squared plus 2x minus 8 will factor as x plus 4 times x minus 2. 8x minus 16 is 8 times x minus 2. Remember, I'm going to flip this, so I'm going to multiply, and then 2x plus 10 is going to be 2 times x plus 5. And then x squared minus 16 is x plus 4, x minus 4. All right, so I've factored and flipped everything. Now I want to cancel. X minus 2 cancels x minus 2. X plus 4 cancels x plus 4. 2 will cancel 8, leaving a 4. And that's it. So what's left in the numerator is x plus 5 over 4 times x minus 4.